bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Yeah, welcome. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Monday, November 30th, 334 days into the new year, just 31 days left. Wow, that's it, 31 days. For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, The Planet, I'm your oh-so-humble host, Jimmy Church. I'd like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black, coming to you live from downtown Burbank, California. Beautiful downtown Burbank. All right. Fired up. Let's get the show cracking. Tonight, it's our very first AMA Q&A. Day one of 4 straight AMA nights here on Fade to Black. And our first guest tonight is Hollis Polk. She's back with us. Great show that we had with her a couple of weeks ago, and just like all of the guests this week, it was just a great conversation, and we didn't have time to take phone calls. So tonight is your opportunity to do just that, and you may ask Hollis anything. All right, just know we're not doing any readings tonight. That's it, and there's a reason for that, and I may get into that a little bit later. But we're not doing readings. You can call and ask Hollis anything. This is a time. This is your chance to ask somebody who's not only clairvoyant in the ET question and disclosure and disruption in the world right now, and how she got started and what does she see and think and so forth, or or if you have maybe a life coaching question, we might be able to get those in. We're going to have a lot of phone calls tonight, so just ask her anything. And tomorrow night, Michael Lee Hill is going to be here, another AMA. And Wednesday night, Leo Zagami, live from Rome, Italy. And on Thursday, it's going to be me. You can ask anything. All right? The call-in number is 323-825-5045. I'm going to open up the phone lines. The phone lines are already ringing. I'm going to open up the phone lines at 7:30 in 25 minutes. Okay? All right? And yes, the calls are coming in. I see that. Listen, if you can hear me right now, relax. Okay? We'll get all the calls in. I'm not going to pick up or put anybody on hold right now. Okay? You can also Skype in Fade to Black 14. You can also tweet your questions in tonight for Hollis. Hashtag F2BQ. Again, hashtag F2BQ. That's Fade to Black questions. That stays live to my left. Okay? All right. It's going to be a great night. Very excited to have Hollis back with us. And it was such an engaging show. And there you go. Okay. And a little note. Don't worry about it. Let's have a good time tonight. And I promise I'll get everybody in. Okay. All right. Life Change Tea, our newest sponsor here. And I'm going to give you an update. I got some more stuff, and I can't wait. I feel like I'm at the point in my life where I need to start considering things, because up until my experiences with Life Change Tea, I was reckless abandon. Yes, and you all know that. Everybody here sees my Facebook page every Sunday. And what we do over at Casa Day Church. But and I feel great. Life Change Tea. You can check them out right now. Click on the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. Do it and help support the show and help change your life. It is life-changing stuff. Amazing products. And everything is over at jimmychurchradio.com. And anybody that orders through the website, or if you call in, just say Jimmy Church, you get free shipping. Okay? How cool is that? And let's I just got to mention, Coast to Coast this weekend was an amazing time. Friday and Saturday night back to back was a pretty great experience, sitting in for George while he was off on Thanksgiving. Now, there was a period in my life when I was flying to the East Coast every single week. I would fly out on Monday and I would come back, and you go through that jet lag thing where everything is thrown off in your life. And I got to tell you, that Friday, Saturday, back-to-back at Coast, although it is fun, I wouldn't change it for the world. It's the life I chose. But I got to tell you, man, it just throws everything off. and December is going to be more of the same. And more on that in a little bit. And I'll tell you what's going on with Coast this month. But, it's going to be another jam-packed Coast month. And so what's really cool about that is you guys, you Fadernauts, you don't get any days off either, because it's going to be Monday through Thursday here, and then Friday and Saturday over at Coast. No rest for the wicked. And it's going to be a great month, and we've got some great stuff planned over at Coast. So there you go. All right. Alien Snowfest, February 5th through the 7th up in Big Bear. Go and click on the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com and get your tickets. And I know that there's a promotion going on. I believe everybody that gets your weekend passes, you're going to get discounts on ski stuff and accessories and so forth. So go and get your tickets now. It's going to be great. I cannot wait for Alien Snowfest. I was talking to the people over at Conscious Life Expo, too, as well over the weekend. And what they've got planned, not only for Fade to Black, but for the expo in general, it is going to be great as well. And to be able to go from Alien Snowfest to Conscious Life, a couple of weeks later, it's going to be great. It's going to be a conferenced out month. It's going to be awesome. And Conscious Life has got a great program going on over there, too. You can just go to consciouslifeexpo.com. I think they have about 40, 50 speakers there, and it's going to be great. And what was I going to say about that? Well, on Friday night, we'll be down in the big room broadcasting Fade to Black. So you're going to want to be there and come and hang out with all of us, okay? Let's get this show cracking. I am ready. Oh, if you want to write for us, we're looking for some more bloggers. And if you're good, if you have talent and you have something to say, give Rita, shoot her an email, Rita@jimmychurchradio.com. And, we're going to do some vetting, and we want to see what you can do. But Fade to Blog is a great source. We, every single day, we have thousands and thousands of people on the website. And if you've got something to say, you want to do it. Get it up on Fade to Blog. I go there every day. I read it, and it just impresses me so much. If you want to write for us, shoot Rita an email, Rita@jimmychurchradio.com. With that, let's get this show cracking. Today, Billy Idol. Yes, the Billy Idol is 60. Man, it seems like yesterday I saw him in concert in Indianapolis. Saw him on a tennis court. Oh, man. Literally a tennis court. 60 years old. My goodness. He's like the original Rebel, right? Rebel, yo. Mandy Patinkin is 63. Star of Homeland right now. But, he's still, I too. Wait. Princess Bride, the sword fight on the top of the cliff. One of the best cinematic experiences one can have. But when he throws his sword from his right hand into his left and goes, I too am also left-handed. It's one of the best quotes ever. And one of the best sword fight scenes. Ben Stiller today is 50. Now, I want, if you guys can find this, I'm going to give you a tip. I'm going to give you a tip right now. Take out a pen and write this down. It's called Highway to Hell. It's a movie it's got to be from the early 90s. And I don't even know if it's in print. I don't know. I have it. But don't ask me how I got it. But Highway to Hell. Watch that movie. Ben Stiller's dad is in it. His mom is in it. But it's an extraordinary movie. It is an unbelievably great movie. Highway to Hell. Go check that out. Christina Applegate. No, Christina Applegate's, her birthday is not today, is it? I can't remember because I have it here, but wasn't her birthday last week? Our dead guy's birthday today is Dick Clark. 1929 to 2012, died at the age of 82. He'll always be known for hosting an American Bandstand from 1957 to 1987. Or the $10,000 Pyramid, or Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. Clark suffered a stroke in December 2004, and even with his speech ability impaired, he returned to New Year's Rockin' Eve a year later, December 31st, 2005, and then he appeared every year since until his death. He appeared at the 58th Primetime Emmy Awards in 2006, where he won a Lifetime Achievement Award, and he died on April 18th, 2012, just a few short months after his last appearance on New Year's Rockin' Eve of a heart attack at the age of 82 following a medical procedure. Dick Clark. Remember his sign-off, that trademark of his? For now, Dick Clark. So long. Do that salute. Dick Clark. He was the man. And we're going to head to a break really quick, but I wanted to light up Twitter because I just want to know, hey, Bob, that's exactly right. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. Bob, how'd you find this picture of Highway to Hell? Because that's it. That's it. Well, it's not Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller's in the movie. But, yes, that's it. That's the movie. That's a hard thing to find. You find a link to that, if it's on YouTube or if it's out there, post it, would you? Everybody's just got to. George Seymour just said that is an awesome movie. It is. And nobody's ever heard of it. That movie is great. You can email throughout the show, Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. If you have any questions tonight for Hollis, hashtag F2BQ. It's simple. This is Fade to Black. Tonight, it's our very first AMA. By the way, Reddit doesn't own AMA. I think the American Medical Association had something to do with that and shut that baby down. So we're calling it the AMA Q&A. We could call it the AAMA. Ask me almost anything, right? It doesn't matter. I'm breaking all the rules. What's Reddit going to do? Sue me? Tonight, Hollis Polk. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be back right after this.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National tax experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fade or Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Tonight, our first AMA Q&A. Day one of 4 straight AMA nights right here on Fade to Black. And our first guest tonight is Hollis Polk. Tomorrow night, Michael Lee Hill. Wednesday night, Leo Zagami. Thursday night, me. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. You can also Skype in Fade to Black and the number 14. Figure it out. On this day in history, 1989. America's first... I just sneezed. America's first female serial killer strikes. That's right. Richard Mallory, a store owner in Palm Harbor, Florida, is last seen taking a ride with Eileen Wuornos. Yeah. Now, before she hit with Charlize Theron and before all of that happened, way before that, early 90s, I'm strolling through Tower Records looking for some good documentaries, right? And I find this documentary. It's called The Selling of a Serial Killer by Nick Broomfield. Nick is out of his mind. Love Nick. And I got to buy this. And I bought it, and I took it. I had no clue. I was like, Eileen Wuornos, female serial killer. Took it home. That documentary, The Selling of a Serial Killer, will change your mind about what a good documentary is, because that is an amazing documentary. Anyway, and I went all things Eileen after that. I bought, read, and did everything I could. You know, everything took off years later, 10 years later. But Eileen Wuornos, whoo, man. And not only was she out of her mind, but it's her childhood. It is the most tragic story ever. There's more to it than, just the guys that were killed. Anyway, fate or fact, a mosquito has 47 teeth. And half of all humans who have ever lived, half of all humans who have ever lived have died from malaria. And that is a fader fact. All right, here's all the news that you know nothing about. It's been announced, there is a 90% chance that the tomb of King Tut contains a hidden chamber. And that's according to Egypt's antiquities minister. He said it on Saturday at the end of a 3-day probe in the boy king's burial. Now, the investigation included, for the first time, the use of radar scans and focused mainly on the northern wall of the tomb. Earlier this month, infrared thermography carried out by the team from Cairo's University and their Faculty of Engineering and the Paris-based organization Heritage, Innovation, and Preservation showed differences in the temperatures registered on different parts of the northern wall of the tomb. Damati, the antiquities minister, said he stressed that the radar results are preliminary and that a month is needed to analyze the scans, a 90% chance. This could be like the biggest news of this century. Think about it for a second. All right. An ancient Greek temple was built to face the setting full moon near the winter solstice, according to new research that sheds new light on the orientation of sacred monuments. The new survey of the Valley of the Temples just outside of Agrigento, Italy, reveals that the 2,500-year-old temples were not deliberately aligned to the rising sun, as generally believed. More on this if you go to Jimmy Church Radio over on Facebook. You can read the full article there. And intricately, now, this is also over on our Facebook page. You've got to look at this picture. It's incredible. A carved gold ring containing a stone engraved with Cupid, a god associated with erotic love, has been discovered near the village of Tangley in the United Kingdom. In the engraving, Cupid is shown standing completely nude while holding a torch in one hand. The ring dates back around 1,700 years to the time when the Roman Empire controlled England. The ring was discovered by an amateur with a metal detector. Yeah, you should see it. It looks like it was made yesterday. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful. A southwestern Dakota ghost town of Sweat, S-W-E-T-T, Sweat, is once again for sale, and this time it's even cheaper. Sweat is home to about only 6 acres of land. It's got an empty house, supposed to be haunted. It's got a closed bar, supposed to be haunted. It first went on the market in June of 2014 for $399,000. You can buy yourself a whole town. Generated a lot of interest. I remember reading the press releases on it. But they only had 3 written offers, and they all fell through for various reasons. So now it's back on the market for $250 large, $250,000. You can get yourself your very own ghost town. Brazilian police are hunting for Santa Claus. That's right. Yep, hunting for Santa Claus. Why? Well, check this out. He kicked off the shopping weekend, Black Friday, by stealing a helicopter. The thief rented the aircraft late this past Friday, on Black Friday, from an air taxi service at the Campo Marte Airport in Sao Paulo for Black Friday's surprise. Now, this was according to the Sao Paulo State Security. During the flight, Santa forced the pilot to fly to a small farm outside of Sao Paulo, where they met with a third person. The pilot got socked up, tied up, and then Santa flew away. Oh, man, where do I get this stuff from, man? Who sends this to me? Biologists. That is a great story. Biologist in Colombia. You know, the Santa radar, you know, where was that when you need it, right? Biologists in Colombia say a drought has forced 2 hippos in a town to search for food. Now, the animals are descendants of a group imported in the 1980s by Pablo Escobar. Yeah, the cocaine kingpin guy who had a private zoo on his ranch. Escobar smuggled in elephants, giraffes, all kinds of exotic animals, and among them were 4 hippos, 3 females, and just 1 male. Now, those 4 hippos, are you ready? The ranch was confiscated in the 1990s, and most of the animals were taken and dispersed into zoos around the country. But the hippos, they left. They left them there in a lake, and now they've multiplied to more than 60. Yeah, that one guy, that 1 hippo, and 3 females. So, yeah, more than 60, and they're running out of food. So they're wandering into town for stuff to eat. Can you imagine a hippo coming at you? Yeah. A robot has now been officially recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records for completing a complex puzzle, but not just any puzzle. Zachary Gromko from Bradenton, Florida, a student who developed it, claims that his robot can solve a standard Rubik's Cube faster than anybody. Zachary successfully demonstrated his creation at his high school, St. Stephen's Episcopal in Florida. The robot achieved a new Guinness World Record. Guinness was there, right? For the fastest time to solve a Rubik's Cube. Are you sitting down? In 2.39 seconds. Insane. Absolutely insane. That's all the news that you know nothing about. This is Fade to Black. Tonight, our very first AMA week right here on Fade to Black. 4 straight nights of AMA. And our first guest is Hollis Polk. It's going to be great. Get ready. Get in line. Phone lines are going to be open right after this break, so start calling right now. 323-825-5045. You can also Skype in Fade to Black and the number 14. I'll be back with Hollis Polk right after this.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
People love to shop. What if you could shop and it was actually good for you? What if you could actually purchase items that bettered your life? What goes into your body is important to what quality of life you have. How about shopping for items that better your health? GetTheT.com is that shopping place. We're not only tea, even though that's our #1 seller, we are about helping your health. There's Colostrum LD for those of you with autoimmune troubles. The product helps your stomach get on track. GI problems produce pain. Get relief with Colostrum LD. How about some fat burners? Or maybe some joint aid? Or a power cleanse? There's so much to tell you with very little time. So get help health-wise at GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Or you can call our friendly operators at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. Get help and relief by going shopping. Shop at GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Serving people with great products for over 8 years. GetTheT.com.
Imagine no longer being tied down to your computer, but having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application. The talk shows you follow now follow you. And your iPhone is now the fastest and easiest way to stay connected to the best talk radio on the internet. Let TalkStream Live transform the way you listen to radio. Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mobile talk radio from TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy.
I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers, and you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
All right, you Fadernauts. Studio Dome has done it once again. A new Studio Dome Fadernaut special. Introducing the Studio Dome Boom Box Bluetooth speaker. It's got a rear-firing bass film subwoofer and dual 52mm main speakers. You'll never listen to your tablet or cell phone speakers again. Just click on the Studio Dome banner, use the promo code Jimmy, and you'll get the SBB for $49 and free shipping. And get a Buddy 4-port USB charger for free. That's a $19.99 value right there. And they'll throw in a Buddy in the box. It's the best deal on the net anywhere. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner, enter the promo code Jimmy. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Tonight, it is our very first AMA Q&A. It's day one of 4 straight AMA nights right here on Fade to Black. Our first guest is Hollis Polk. Tomorrow night, Michael Lee Hill is going to be here. Wednesday night, Leo Zagami live from Rome, Italy. And on Thursday, it's going to be me. All right? You can ask anything. Hollis Polk is a clairvoyant and a personal coach who teaches the ET Let's Talk community to develop their psychic abilities in order to communicate with extraterrestrial intelligence. She has a bachelor's degree in engineering from Princeton and a Harvard MBA. She is also a master practitioner of neurolinguistics and is a certified hypnotherapist. Hollis is also a successful business owner. She teaches classes in intuition development and offers one-on-one professional and personal coaching. I would like to welcome back Hollis Polk to our very first AMA. And Hollis, we already have calls lined up, but before we get to that, welcome back to Fade to Black. And are you ready to just be asked anything?
First, thank you so much for having me here. And I'm especially honored to find that I am the very first Ask Me Anything guest. Like, wow.
Yeah,
that's trust.
And what's cool about it is, I went and somebody had said to me, well, Reddit, they've trademarked AMA. And I said, wait a minute, it's 3 letters. You can't trademark 3, and what about
it's also the American Medical Association? Excuse me.
Exactly. So I threw caution to the wind, let them come at us. So there you go. And I'm excited about this. Now, I want to lay down a little bit of ground rules for tonight because we're going to take a lot of calls. And we're not doing readings. So I don't want people to assume that that's where we're going with this tonight. It's the opportunity to speak not only with somebody that is credentialed like, Princeton and Harvard, and I have neither, right, on my CV, just so you know, okay? And to ask anything. I mean, if I was calling in, I'd want to know, do you talk to people at Princeton? Do you what do they think about what you're doing? Whatever, there's anything that you can ask. And there you go. Now the calls are coming in left and right. So let's just go to the first call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Hollis Polk.
Hello, Hollis. Hello?
She can hear you.
Oh, cool. Hi. I can't hear her. I can hear you, Jimmy.
Oh, wait a minute. Hollis, hang on for a quick second here.
Hit the button. Hit the right button.
No. Hollis is disconnected. She's here. We'll just hang on. What's your name?
I am Ted.
Hey, Ken. It's
TED, T-E-D.
Oh,
Teddy.
Oh, like TED Talks.
Sure.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, I'm waiting for Hollis, and
okay.
Let me see here. I'm going to try. She's showing live. Okay, I'm going to see if I can bring her back right now. Yeah, bizarre. It just you guys were sitting there. Well, it doesn't matter.
Men in Black.
Yeah, it's the way it goes sometimes, Ted.
Just like last time.
Yeah.
With those guys.
and we've got, calls are coming in, but we're just going to have to wait. Okay, something is going on with her phone line. Yeah, I'm watching it here. See, I've got a meter, and and things are showing me how strong it is, and it's failing at the moment. So,
Hollis, come back.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm getting an echo on my end.
Okay, well that's not. You sound fine out here, just so you know.
Okay.
No, you sound good.
Oh, the echo went away.
Okay, this is strange. It just will not. Okay, Hollis, if you can hear me, hey, Ree, call Hollis and have her backtrack into me. All right? And that's going to take a few seconds here. But I'll try it one more time. If it doesn't happen, we'll reverse the procedure. Wow, this is a little embarrassing. It's kind of weird. But, it's part of live radio, too. We're set up.
Exactly.
We're ready to go. Everything is cool. Yeah. And then at the moment, when it's go time, something happens. It's totally funny. I used to, Ted, freak out. Years ago when things would go, you guys wouldn't be able to see what's going on here. But, I'd mute the mic and start tipping over desk.
Right.
Now, no, it's not that big of a deal. Okay.
It's not worth it, huh?
Yeah. This is what I'm going to do, Ted. I've got your number right here. I'm going to clear the lines, and you just call right back, and I'm going to bring Hollis in. Okay?
Okay. Cool. I'll call right back.
You
Thanks,
got it.
Jimmy.
You got it.
Okay. Bye.
Absolutely bizarre. I don't know what's going on here. So let's do this. And I will do it in real time right here. I have no idea. It's a funny situation right now. And I'm looking, and we have strong everything right now. Everything is way in the green. Okay, come on. Okay, Hollis, are you there?
I am so sorry. Skype logged me out and wouldn't let me back in. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Say hi to Ted. Ted, say hi to Hollis.
Hi, Hollis.
Hi, Ted. What's up?
How are you? Boy, that was kind of strange. But anyway, I am actually friends. Do you know Pete Chan, San Diego, friends of? Yeah. So I was one of the original members of CE5 San Diego, and with Pete, just first of all, kudos to him. He's an amazing guy. Hopefully he'll listen to this either tonight or sometime. But I just recently moved to Santa Fe, and first of all, I'd like to start a group up here, so I'm just taking this opportunity to put a shout-out to anybody here in Santa Fe that is into CE5 and would like to also join me in my group. And I'm going to set up a Facebook page real quick soon. So anyway, enough of that. So my question is about, how to understand my ET contact. It was one of the suggestions that Costa had on the email, and it actually rang a bell for me because recently, before we moved to Santa Fe, this was a big decision for us, and I was, wanting some kind of confirmation. And just one evening, right as it was getting dark, I just went outside and I looked up at the sky and I asked, from my heart, it felt like, am I on the right path? Am I making the right decision? And I swear I saw 3 bright flashes exactly where I was looking in the sky. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and so, I mean, these kind of, it always seems like, not always, but it's often really subtle, this contact, and it's bizarre, but I mean, so I'm just trying to get it, like, it's sometimes it's so subtle, I feel like, am I nuts? Am I just like, did I just see like a, I don't know, something flash up there, high altitude weather balloon, or I don't, you know what I mean? But it always seems like way too coincidental. So I don't know if I'm like trying to get confirmation on that, or like how do I go about, understanding that? Is it something innate? Is it?
So here's the thing. First, congratulations on, doing contact work and setting up a contact group where you move. That's awesome. And also for paying attention to the signs around you. I can't tell you, obviously, what you saw, but it's, I do believe that you can say that we create or we co-create reality through our intentions. If you're sincerely asking something from your heart and something shows up that gives you a confirmation, I would take it as a confirmation. I mean, do I know what exactly that was? No. But I mean, plenty of people get signs in all kinds of ways. If yours are flashes in the sky, that's cool. I know one person who finds shiny dimes on like random places, but often on the street. Like he'll ask a question and a yes is like a shiny dime showing up like almost immediately after. I had another friend who she used to find feathers in places where there couldn't be feathers, like underneath, some porcelain figurine that she hadn't lifted for years. Mm-hmm. And she'd find a feather under it. Like she'd be kind of prompted to go, to whatever it was and lift the thing up and there'd be a feather there. So there are a million different ways that we can have contact. And I'm not even saying contact with what, that will give us the information we want. I mean, other people, this is one of my favorites, is they'll have a book or maybe even just a whole shelf of books, and they'll ask for guidance, and they'll be guided to pick up a particular book, open to a particular page, and that's the answer they need.
Yep.
So lots of ways. If that's yours, hey, cool.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, that, yeah, and like it manifests in different ways too. Like I had another moment today on this walk today, that I paused for a moment and I kind of had an internal question, and then I looked down, and then right where I looked down was the coolest rock, and I had to bring it home. I mean, there's a lot of really great rocks here in New Mexico I'm discovering, and I'm not a geologist or anything, but I mean, there's like quartz, and it's really incredible. But this rock, and it was white, and it had this black strip through it of another whatever, and it was just really cool. And to me, again, it almost seemed like that's almost like a little sign of affirmation or something. So maybe it can come in many different ways.
Many different ways, and with luck, you'll find a consistent pattern to how it comes.
Cool. Anyway, I thank you, Hollis. I listened to you and Casa the last time you were on, and really was, I hadn't heard the whole story I'd heard a little bit of Costa's story and a little bit of yours as far as your ET experiences, but it was an excellent interview, and I got so much more, information about you guys' history, and also a lot of the connections that you made, and I really appreciate it. So I let you get on to other callers. I'm sure there's tons of callers with tons of questions, and I won't eat up the line anymore. Thanks, Jimmy, too, for having me on. Okay, guys?
You got it, Ted. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Phone lines are open. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Hollis, I have a question here that is in Twitter, and it's kind of funny because I talked about this on Coast. I think it was Friday night, and I don't know if it was a caller that had called in, but the subject came up about, and you and I had talked about this earlier today, Lush, about we were food, we were ET food. Literally food for ET and for the reptilians. And so this question just came in, and it is, are aliens abducting humans to eat? If so, is there anything we can do to make us less palatable?
Well, I can't imagine we're very palatable in any case.
Well, I made a joke about it on Coast. I said, well, maybe we should do something that makes us taste bad, like eat a lot of garlic, right? And so... And I was making, I don't want to make fun of the subject because it's a serious subject, but I was just thinking, some animals just don't taste good to other animals. They eat things that make them taste nasty, right? And I made a joke about it, but is there, do you think that the reptilians are actually using us for food?
Okay, I haven't actually heard of any people who were abducted and didn't come back. And that would mean that nobody was eaten. Now, if anybody can point me to somebody who says, so-and-so they know for sure they were taken off the planet and they know for sure they didn't come back, well, all right, I'm willing to entertain that, but I personally haven't heard any stories like that.
And they just did a hashtag here, garlic luge. So it's obviously somebody that listened to Coast on Friday. And I had a lot of email about me saying something like that. And although I was just trying to, I don't want to say make fun of it, but I was just, I was thinking out loud. And a lot of people responded to that going, you know what, that's not a bad idea.
It's really funny.
So anyway, there you go.
Wait, one other thing. If Lush is negative energy or fear energy, something that would make us a lot less palatable would be, guess what? Being positive.
Interesting. Well, okay. Well, we were talking about Lush earlier today. And we can mention David Wilcock. He's a friend of the show. He's a good guy. And but Lush, I had heard about a couple of times in the last 10 years. And now the last 2 years, it's definitely a subject that is out there. That bad vibe is what keeps a lot of reptilian or ETs, moving strong. Do you think Lush is something real to consider?
It's absolutely something to consider. Do I know for a fact that it's true? No.
Okay. Caller, turn down the radio.
Hi.
Yeah, you need to turn me down in the background.
Okay, I did that.
Okay.
Yes.
No, now we're good. Now we're good. Hi, what's your name?
I'm Rob.
Hey, Rob, say hi to Hollis.
Hi, Hollis. We're calling in from New Orleans.
Cool. What's your question?
Question is, and this is for everyone, there's been a great deal of discussion on the fact that all of us at one time had psychic abilities of one kind or another. And I'm really posing this not as a question, but just as a matter of discussion. Recovery of those. Have you been reading about the potential to recover psychic abilities?
I haven't
disclosure?
read about it. I do it.
That's what I want to hear.
Okay.
Could you tell us a little bit about everyone's unique potential to recover whatever it might be that they were best at experiencing?
Hey, I'm going to jump in and say, Rob, that is an excellent question. Thank you for that. And I want to hear the answer to this.
So
all of us should
yes, that's a great question.
Thank you. I don't like to concern myself with personal issues in life. I prefer to work on a different dynamic, but that would be that we all have something to look forward to.
Okay, so the basic answer is psychic abilities are like the ability to run. Just about everybody has some. Okay, I myself am one of the slowest people on 2 legs. But with training, even I will get faster. So everybody has an innate ability. You know, again, there are all the different kinds, and I can go through those. But everybody has some ability. Yours will be different than the next person's, will be different than the person after that. But whatever it is, you can identify it and you can practice, and you'll get better. Again, like the ability to run. No matter how slow you start off, if you work at it, you'll get better. You know, a little coaching, a lot of practice, you'll get better.
And Rob, did you have an ability that has gotten away from you?
Yes, I do. I'm not. I don't talk about it that often, but I'm a writer and I write fiction. And I found out 40 years ago that sometime after I had put the short story or whatever I'd written away, that it came true. And I started to write with the intention of changing things in a positive way for future events. And I found that it actually works. Very often I'll write about something and discover that it has a basis in reality that I was unaware of. So I began to explore what was actually happening in my subconscious or other realms of experience. I have not been able to trace it all down or work with it as actively as I'd like to. I don't think there are any sure solutions to understanding this, at least that I'm aware of. Maybe Hollis would like to comment on that, but it's a predictive, a precognitive condition, I guess you'd say, somewhat like what Philip K. Dick wrote about in a number of his stories, whether they were books or short stories.
Right.
Precognitive abilities. And it's one of many that are lesser talked about, I think. Everyone talks about telekinesis and the others that are more popular subjects, but it's a rather interesting thing to be able to write something and see one aspect or more of it come to fruition in the future.
Yeah, and I guess, well, Hollis, I'll let you expand on this because I find this really interesting, but it sounds like, you know, you kind of let it go, Rob, and Hollis is telling you got to get back on that horse. You got to practice. You've got to exercise, and the only way to do that, I think that's an absolutely fascinating thing. And so, Hollis,
I'm finishing up fiction based on fact novel on the lunar realities that we've been hearing about over the past, say, 15 or 20 years. And the fiction part of the book has a positive ending, which I'm hoping actually happens. So let's see what goes on with that. But Hollis, would you like to comment on precognitive abilities?
Very much. So first, bless you for writing things with positive outcomes. Okay? So precognition is a funny thing. And there are two things that can be happening, and it's very difficult to tease them apart. And I'm not even sure that it's possible at all. So there's precognition, which is seeing out into the future, and there's creating the future. And
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Very important point. Very important.
And so to me, when I look, like if I'm looking for a person, they ask me to look at a particular issue, to me, it looks like there are a range of probabilities. Like there's not one set future. There's a range. There, maybe for any given person, there are three, in any given issue, there are, 3 or 4 main probabilities. And maybe even one of those is, more than 50%. But there will still be a few others that are minor ones. And if you're putting your attention on any one of those, you're going to help bring that into physical reality. So there's a precognition of like, oh, this is possible. And then, hey, I'm going to put my emotional energy into making that happen.
And you know what? I think he does have precog ability, because that was my question, and I just let him go with it. Hey, Rob. Hey, thank you for the phone call.
Yeah.
Wait, I have a question for you, Rob. I have a question. The stuff that you see as possible, or you get, how does it show up for you? Does it show up as like a picture or a movie, or do you hear stuff? Like, how does it show up for you?
My background's in film and TV. I go way back to films like the Blues Brothers and so on in Chicago. So I get a picture. I have a background in theater and drama too, so it tends to play out as an entire series of events. And I just wanted to add to that. There's been a lot of talk about timelines over the last few years. I want to say that I think that we're really, really on a strong positive timeline right now as a result of everyone intending a better future. And not everyone, but I mean the people that we consider like-minded. And
so, listen, hey, Rob Hollis, I got to get to a commercial. So
go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rob Hollis. Stay
You're
right.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great questions. This is Fade to Black, our first AMA week. Hollis Polk is our first guest. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Bespoke Radio for the masses. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. More of your calls next with Hollis Polk.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Ray Sobs here once again to tell you about the Space and Alien Snowfest Ufology Conference taking place in the ski resort city of Big Bear Lake in sunny Southern California. What a lineup. Richard Dolan, Chase Kletsky, Micah Hanks, George Norrie, Jason Martell, Jimmy Church, Linda Moulton Howe, keynote speaker Stanton Friedman, and more. Along with the speakers and lecturers, join the luncheon hosted by Jimmy Church. See a world-class UFO ET-themed ice sculpture contest with attendees voting the winner. Enjoy the quaint shops, restaurants, and pubs in Big Bear Lake Village, and enjoy some of the best sky watching you can imagine. After the hectic holidays, gift yourself with a retreat the first week of February, and come relax with us in a premier ski resort town high in the mountains of the Southern Sierras, with an average of over 300 sunny days a year. Take advantage and book your lodging early and get your tickets now. Visit our website and register at aliensnowfest.com. That's aliensnowfest.com.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall. And it's all here.
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With the mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Tonight, it's our very first AMA Q&A. Day one of 4 straight AMA nights here on Fade to Black. And our first guest is Hollis Polk. And I just want to say before I get back to the calls to everybody, yes, there are calls that are backed up. If you call in and I don't pick up, just call back. It's okay. I'll get everybody in. Just keep calling. I have the ability. I'm only one guy. So I have the ability to put one call on hold, maybe 2, pull one in, and keep the rotation going. Okay? I've got 10 calls lined up here right now, and I know, and I see when people hang up, and don't get frustrated. I will get to everybody. Just keep calling, and I'll get to everybody. Okay? With that, let's go straight back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Hollis Polk. Who's calling?
Hi, Hollis. This is Sonia Majori. I'm a big fan of Costa and Dr. Stephen Geer's CE5 group. And I know you too. You're a Facebook friend of mine. And I'm calling because I recently had a conversation with a very famous contactee, and he told me it's only a matter of time before they show themselves to me in the physical, the ET beings. And he gave me some insight and stuff. And the thing is, there's so many ET beings that I see. Most of the time I'm conscious in a blink of an eye or in meditation. And I don't know which ones. Should I focus on the ones that I normally see often, or should I just keep the door open to see who comes? And, I find it so strange because I'm in the suburbs, in the middle of the city, and I said this to the contactee, and he's like, no, they can appear anywhere. So what would you do? Would you just focus on the ones that normally come often, or just keep the door open so anybody comes in, which I normally do?
Well, first, hi, Sonia. Nice to meet you by phone. So I would, in general, keep the door open, and I would make sure to set my own protections. Do you do that regularly?
Oh, I do that every day. I've been doing this for years, absolute years, so several times a day normally.
Okay, so yeah, as long as you're doing that, I don't think we can control it. I mean, I think we can probably shut it down if that's our intention, but since your intention is to be open, maybe it's somebody completely new.
Oh, I get new entities all the time. In the last 3 days, I got one each different day. Wow. And, there's sometimes there's a week or two that'll go by, nothing happens, and then suddenly I'm flooded. but not always with ET. Sometimes they're celestial beings from the other side and stuff like that. But then I had 4 near-death experiences, which probably makes my door wider open than most.
Yeah, really.
So,
wow.
So the thing is, I'm just wondering, if you could give me insight, what else I should be doing? Is there anything else that you would recommend? I've been looking forward for physical contact. I see them in 4D, 5D, whatever you want to call it, when they look absolutely crystal clear, real, in a blink of my eye. Since there's no time on the other side, a blink is actually like 5 minutes or more. So I get a good look in all absolute details. They feel real. They look real. They're right in front of me most of the time, like in 12 inches to a foot and a half away, or 3 feet. And sometimes I'm bored, sometimes I'm not. So, but that's what I see. And what I'm waiting is for the physical. I do have also a lot of the videos.
Well, if they're showing up for you, why don't you enter into a telepathic conversation? Hey, stay a while. See, is it okay? Is it safe for you to manifest physically?
I never have asked them that. Thanks for that. I've never asked them to, got to the point to ask them to manifest physically. I've had many just little conversations with a few words here and there. It doesn't usually go beyond that because of all the distraction around it.
Right.
So are you doing this in meditation, or do they just show up kind of randomly?
Normally in meditation, but they can show up. 2 years ago, I was playing cards with my family. And suddenly I blink and I found myself on a table. And some grays are looking at me. But, things like that happen to me often, but usually at very quiet moments. Even when I'm at the computer, believe it or not, one of the best ways that I found is just to look at planets and just pictures of cosmos.
Oh, and I want to thank you for the call, Sonia. That's fascinating. And listen, I had my little experience. I talked to Hollis about this 2 weeks ago, in downtown Los Angeles. So when you said suburbs, I totally hear you. It just doesn't matter. It's going to happen when it's just going to happen. But it sounds like you're having some incredible experiences, and you can contact Hollis or Costa directly too as well. And if you're shooting video, we should see it. But I've got to get to these other calls.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Sonia. That was fascinating. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Sonia. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Hollis Polk. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Kim, Hollis, and Jimmy.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hi. Mine's a little bit complex for me. It might be a little bit less complex for you. I'm married to a man who's ex-military, who thinks he was involved with military mind control, also thinks he had a death experience where he has an ET soul inside of his body. He's desperately looking for some type of answers, some type of ET contact, because he feels he has visions. He's seeing ETs in his visions. I don't know how to get help for him. I've tried with Dolores Cannon's trained hypnotherapist, and for some reason, even the taped message, the session's taped, and there's interference. It almost sounds like it's being jammed, and nothing's helping him, and I'm trying to help him figure out what the truth is in his life about what's going on.
Well, the first thing I would say is I assume that these experiences are unpleasant for him.
Are what?
Are unpleasant? As in he wants them to end?
Actually, no, it's not unpleasant for him. He's really, since we met 4 years ago, I'm the type of person who I can fix anybody else's problems but my own, but because I get intuitive hits. And I had a vision of him that there's like 3 things that's like, I had a vision of him like the old What's My Line TV show where the panel, who was the real person? Will you stand up? And there was 3 of him, and nobody would really stand up, and it's like almost like they were being pushed down. It's like I'm trying to figure out exactly what the truth of him is, because I am very intuitive, but this is more along the lines of hypnotherapy and ET contact, and no matter what avenue I try to help him with, try to steer him to, and he's actually seeing ETs like spaceships now, and as he's getting more in tune with that, he's seeing these. But he is the type of person who's totally unaware of anything.
Well, so here's the thing. Nobody can fix anything for anybody else, okay?
True.
You can give them information, you can give them tools, but you can't fix it. True. And I'm not hearing you say, the reason I said I assume this is unpleasant for him is because you were going on about, wanting to know and all that. Does he care? Does he want it? See, it's all about what he wants.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
What does he want?
Yes, actually, he does. Michael Lee Harris is going to be on, and he resonates with him, and he wants to actually call in and hopefully get on the show and ask some questions there. He emails everybody, gets no responses. He goes to hypnotherapy and gets basically nothing. He's excited about finding out what the truth is. It's not that he's suffering from it. It's like his whole life he says it's like it's empty, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. And I think that's why him and I were brought together, because I'm the person to discover what's going on. But everything I've tried to do in my humanistic realm, I'm a nurse and whatever, but it's like I can direct him to certain things, and that's why I figured you're a different type of an expert, that maybe I could direct him to find out what's going on.
So here's the thing. Is he a meditator at all?
I'm sorry, is he a what?
Does he meditate?
Actually, he is a meditator, but he basically has stuff going on in his head all the time, and he can't stop what's going on all the time. So he can meditate, but he can't stop his mind from thinking, because he says it's almost like 2 different brains are thinking at the same time.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm gonna jump in. Hollis, it sounds like this is something that you need to maybe take on, and you guys need to talk off the show.
Sure. I appreciate that.
You understand what I'm saying.
Talk to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll send him your contact information. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I in no way was cutting her off. It's just we could absolutely have a wonderful show and do the next 2 hours with this. I would almost have wanted to get him on the show. So, hi, you're live on Fade to Black AMA night. Say hi to Hollis Polk. Who's calling?
This is Earl Santra.
This is who?
Earl Santra.
Hey, Earl, how are you? Say hi to Hollis. What's your question tonight?
Well, I was going to ask her about... Hi, Hollis. Sorry.
Hi.
What do you think when people ask you why don't they just show up and just riddle the sky with spaceships?
Well, okay. Historically, a number of them have been shot down. As in killed. So that means it's not completely safe, and that might be a good reason not to show up.
Right, exactly. They get shot down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're definitely trigger happy here,
Yeah.
And I if you think about how trigger happy we are with us, right? With us. And something like that happening where that we just don't understand, or not only could it be ET, but what if it's some, secret Russian weapon, that we don't understand? There's that aspect too. It's always shoot first, ask questions later, and I'm definitely of that vibe for sure.
And think how the media has programmed us to demonize A, the other, and B, especially extraterrestrials.
Yeah,
right? They're all bad and wrong.
Yeah, every blockbuster movie that comes out now is us against them, right?
There's definitely that programming from the media, that whole mindset. And a lot of the people I talk to, they really aren't privy to the sort of information where they actually even think about the fact that we've even done something along the lines of shoot them down. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny and I'm going to jump in because this is hilarious. When people say to me, "Well, give me evidence of when we've ever done that," War of the Worlds. War of the Worlds. When that broadcast happened, everybody's running out of. They shot up a water tower. Right? A water tower that has been sitting there for decades. Everybody knows what it is, but they ran it, and now it's an alien craft, and they shot at their own water. So, yes, the fear would be, I don't know if it'd be as great as it was in 1938, but it's definitely pre-programmed in us to react that way. Okay, so did you have another question for Hollis? I'm sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just kind of wanted to make a point, having that question out there. There's also the other side of the issue is socially, as a public mass, how do you just show up in front of a group of people of whom a large percentage won't even talk about you? Like, you won't even accept it as even a possibility. You know what I mean? And I think part of the roadway to us actually having a real event, like a broad daylight, full spectrum interface is we got to sanitize that conversation amongst the public. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean, but I will say this. I have read someplace, and, I can't tell you where that is, so I can't verify, in fact, that this is, 100% true and not, some made-up meme. But it is said that when the Spanish ships first arrived in Central America, the natives literally didn't see the ships because they couldn't conceive of such a thing.
Yeah, the Mayans, too, as well. Yeah. Hey, thank you for the call. Excellent question. And I think that's always on everybody's mind. How would we, react? Literally, caller, stay right there. It went. I make jokes about this all the time, but if an ET, if a flying saucer, a starship, landed on the 405 during traffic, there would be the first part of the reaction. Whoa, ET is here! But after about an hour, it's going to be get that thing off of the freeway. It's blocking traffic, and that's my take. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Hollis.
Hi, Hollis. Jimmy, this is Michael up in the Adirondacks. I have Cindy sitting here with me, too.
Hello, Jimmy.
Hi, how are you guys?
Listen, we hear you talking about an ET landing on the highway in California during rush hour. You're right, you're going to have a problem. But we can frame our question either from one human being and a contact with respect to, say, an abduction, or I don't care if you even worked in the secret space program, or we can frame it in the context of global, along the lines of a term that we've heard you discuss a number of times called disclosure. So we'll leave that up to Hollis to pick the question. I think Cindy's got the better role.
Meeny, miny, mo. All right, I'm kind of perplexed as to this whole abduction thing, because that's not my experience or the experience of anybody I know. And if you want to keep it's easier sometimes to deal with things on a smaller level. So deal with it on the one person level, and then maybe we can generalize out. How's that?
That sounds great, Hollis.
Okay.
It's a two-part question. The first part would be, I know you've heard a lot of different stories about people who have, they're abducted from their bedrooms in the middle of the night, and the episode lasts for an hour or 2 hours, and we even know about Travis Walton, who had disappeared for 5 days. But here's the first part of the question: have you ever heard of anyone being abducted for, say, 5.5 years, 6 years? And the second question, this is Cindy's question. No, you asked her.
We were just wondering what kind of, we have so many languages on around it. What do they speak? I know they speak telepathically, but do they know everybody's language?
Great question. Great question.
Okay, so go ahead.
No, please.
Well, the first question was, a 5.5-year abduction. Have you heard of anything quite like that?
Okay, so I should start by saying, like I said the last time, I was not interested in this stuff until they showed up in my bedroom.
Right.
So I don't read. I mean, I read a lot, but I don't read about anything to do with the star visitors. It's not that's all very nice. So, I mean, but I haven't read of much of anybody's accounts of anything. So, no, I haven't. But that could just be that I'm, ignorant there. And then, God, forgive me, I've already forgotten Cindy's question, but I had a good answer for that one.
Yeah, the second question was, how do they communicate? Do they understand? Do they know every language on Earth?
Oh, here's the thing.
If I could jump in here just and add to Cindy's question about what language they would speak, but we're speaking English right now, but I'm pretty sure maybe Jimmy knows a little bit of Spanish, maybe you do, Hollis. When you speak a different language, you speak in the verbs and the all the other the symbols of that language. How would they communicate? Would they communicate to us in a language that we would understand?
But it's not in a language.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right.
It's direct mind-to-mind communication, and we hear it in our language, and they're thinking it somehow in theirs. But it's not, and it may not even be in words. Lots of our language, I come from NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and we talk about people's internal language as being made up of pictures, feelings, sounds, tastes, and smells. So an internal language is a much more kind of vibrant experience than just words.
Yeah, and Cortana just tweeted out, she said, speech and symbols that can be decoded by anyone, thought forms, feelings.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, Mike and Cindy, thank you for the phone call.
Well, you're welcome, Jimmy. We love you up here, all of us.
I know you do. You guys be safe.
Thanks, Hollis. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
I've often, thought about that, because if you that opens up the phone lines. I cleared through 8 calls there really quick. Everything is open. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. This is our first AMA night with Hollis Polk. Everything is on the table. Give us a call. 323-825-5045. Is this, Hollis, if you meld, if you get that telepathic connection, then it isn't about ones and zeros. It's not about a language barrier. Now you're dealing with, the inside of somebody else's mind too as well. So it is feelings. It is pain. It is taste. You would literally know probably what that person had for dinner. Am I right in saying something like that?
Well, if I were paying attention to that, let's bring it a little closer to home. Anybody who has a pet, and let's say a mammalian pet,
right?
Particularly cats and dogs, the larger ones. I'm not sure about, probably bunnies. I don't know about hamsters or whatever. If you've spent any time with your pet, you know what they're thinking.
I do.
Right. It's the same thing.
Yes.
Right?
It makes a lot of sense. It does. It makes a lot of sense. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Hollis Polk. This is our AMA night.
Hey, Hollis. Hey, Jimmy. How are you guys?
Okay. Is there 2 on the line or 1?
I'm here in that back. It's just me. My name's Colby.
Hey, Colby. How are you?
Doing great. That's funny. I heard what you guys were saying as you picked up the line. Sitting here with my dog, and people think I'm crazy because I definitely know, what she wants, and sometimes, we can't communicate, but you definitely know what they want,
Okay, I'm going to say this really quick. I actually have 2 callers on, but my system here is only showing 1. Okay?
Huh.
So there's Colby. Who else is on the line?
Yeah, this is Bruce on the line. I'm waiting for Colby.
Oh, okay.
I'll wait till he finishes.
Okay, Colby, go ahead.
All right. So I had a question about, now I'm on the East Coast, right outside of Philadelphia. And, I spent a lot of time on the West Coast, and, at least my perception of, the whole ET contact, CE5, all that stuff, was much more openly discussed and more warmly felt. And that's definitely how people are out there versus, the Northeast of the East Coast, or my perception. What do you have any good recommendations for, groups or sources of, people that want to learn more about, making contact and things of that nature?
Okay, there are plenty of people on the East Coast. Yes, it's not as open a culture. I agree. I'm from New Jersey originally. It's not as open. But I know there are a couple people on the Jersey Shore. There are people even in New York City, and there are lots of people in upstate New York, which I realize isn't, quite a trip for you. But I got to tell you, I think sometimes, there's got to be some great places out in the Pineys, right? Go sit down and do contact. Woo.
It's so funny. Once you get outside of Manhattan, you get to very rural New York very quickly. Most people picture New York as Manhattan and the boroughs. I get that, I do, but you only have to drive a little ways, and the next thing you know, you're in rolling hills covered in trees.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is. Look at the Hudson Valley. How far is Hudson Valley from Manhattan, Colby?
Well, I'm in Philadelphia, but I would say, from at least the way that I go, it's not more than a couple hours.
Yeah. It's less than that probably, and you're right in the middle of nowhere. So now, also, you can go and register over at ET Let's Talk. That's totally free to register. Go to etletstalk.com, and you'll be able to connect with somebody right close to you, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Wow.
Thank you for the call, Colby.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
You too.
Okay, now I'm gonna try not. Thank you, Colby. I'm gonna try not to mess this up because my software is not showing this extra call here. So I'm gonna give this a shot. Okay, here we go. Are you still there? Oh man, see, I hung up on the wrong call. Okay, so I know his number. I'm looking at it. It was Colby that was hidden, not the other. All right. You got to love it. Yeah, so back to when I was saying that earlier, if you're connected directly, would you know somebody's taste and feeling, or if they're feeling pain?
Well, okay, there are different things that you can know. Some people specialize in feeling, and they would absolutely know that. I don't. I get more information. I get a lot of pictures. I do get words. So it just depends on what each person's individual, capabilities are and their interests.
Now, what about, and caller, stay right there. Stay right there. I've got you back. What about if there's something you don't want somebody to know?
I don't think that's really possible. And here's the thing. I'll going to go off topic just a little bit here. I actually think that the internet is a precursor to common telepathy.
You got that right.
It's for us to learn manners.
Yes. You got that right. Okay. Say hi to Hollis. Who's calling?
This is Bruce.
Hey, Bruce. How are you tonight? Now we got you back. We're solid. Sorry about that.
No problem. I have a question for you. I went through a phase for about a year where I could really meditate and get to where you're talking about. Then all of a sudden, I lost it. and I can't get it back. What do you think? Why do you think that is? Why would it go away suddenly and I can't get it back?
Okay, the first thing is change your language. Rather than saying, I can't get it back, say, I'm working on getting it back. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. Now, what I would ask you is, at the point where you, quote, lost it, unquote, what happened? Did somebody say something to you? Did you have an experience that was scary? Like, did something happen?
It wasn't a scary experience, but it was in a meditation, which is almost like a dream state. And in the dream state, I died. And when I died in the dream state, I felt it in my entire body. And I sat up, and I'm looking in the room, and I'm not having an OBE because I looked back. I've had out-of-body experiences before, too, a couple of times. But it wasn't an out-of-body. And I was looking in the room, and the room was gray, and there were two shadow people in the room, and one came to the right of me, and then they both faded. And at that point, I looked back to see if I was asleep, and I wasn't. I was sitting up. And at that point, I woke up and went and got a cup of coffee and thought about the whole situation. And I have not been able to, which I try, but I have not been able to bring it back again.
Okay, so my best suggestion is to, in your mind, recreate that situation as clearly as you can and see if you can change it and kind of create like an alternate path forward. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. But I have actually recreated it, and believe it or not, in that dream state or in that meditation state, I had the option to live or to die. And I know this sounds weird, but I always choose to live. But I told myself, well, this is just a dream. Let's see what happens if I go the other way this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. And it wasn't scary. It wasn't, I wasn't frightened from it. But I don't know. It's hard to explain. It really is hard to explain.
Well, I understand it. I have myself muted there for a second. I understand where you're, what you're saying. So, no, it doesn't sound complicated or confusing. You just can't get it back. And I had, that's why I muted it, my mic, because I wanted to hear Hollis's answer. And I didn't want to interrupt her because I'm a professional interrupter. That's what I do. But, I had a similar experience and, not exactly the same, but very similar. And and I told Hollis a couple of weeks ago, it never happened again. It was 20 years ago, and it never happened again. And I don't know if I'm actually wanting to happen again, because I felt like the experience was kind of negative, and I wanted to kick me some major ET booty that night. And that's the way that I took it. I freaked out, and plus I was alone. But I've never had it happen again. And I wanted to hear what Hollis had to say about trying to recreate it to have it happen again, because maybe I'll change my mind someday. But right now I'm kind of cool. I'm cool. Yeah. I had the experience. I know what happened, and I'm good with that. I don't know if I've had so many people, Hollis included, ask me more details and ask me, would I like to find out more about the experience? Or, you know what? I'm cool. I had the experience, and I don't want to know. I don't want to know if I was abducted. I don't know. I don't want to know if they were messing with me while I was sleeping. I don't want to know any of that stuff. I'm just cool with the way it is. Hey, Bruce.
Well, I'm never associated with it with an abduction or anything. I've never associated it with anything like that. I just can't get back to that deep meditation phase again.
Yeah.
And I've been trying.
Here's the thing, Bruce. Wait a minute. Look, if I were guessing, and I can't, I obviously can't do this on the air, So this is a guess, and not normally I would pull this out of you, but limitations of time, whatever. If I were guessing, I would guess that somewhere in that experience you made some kind of a choice not to go there again. This, and I'm completely making this up here, projecting this, this is uncomfortable, scary, something negative, and you go, not going there. It's too scary to go deep into a meditation, so don't want to go meditating again. And that's why I'm saying, if you can go back, and by the way, it occurs to me that those people, the shadow people, were probably there. So, I'm not thinking you're making anything up. What I'm saying is your reaction to it could be what has created I can't get into a deep meditation anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's about shifting your reaction to what happened. And that's easy enough to do using NLP.
And Bruce,
that's an easy thing.
Right. And Bruce, you can contact Hollis directly. You can go to her website, 888-4hollis.com.
Or just call me, 888-4hollis, 888-446-5547.
Yep. And
call me.
And her links are right there on our website at jimmychurchradio.com. Okay, Bruce?
Okay, thanks for the time.
Yeah, have a great night. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Say hi to Hollis Polk. You're live. Caller, you are live. 3.
Hello?
Oh, there you are. Say hi to Hollis. Who's calling?
This is Georgia.
Hi, Georgia. Say hi to Hollis.
Hi, Hollis.
Hi, Georgia.
Hollis, did you have a question?
Well, no, Georgia.
Or Georgia.
Has a question.
I'm sorry. Too much coffee. Georgia, did you have a question for Hollis?
I guess I just tuned in and I wanted to listen.
Oh, just go to the website, jimmychurchradio.com. You've actually called into the show live.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, Georgia. You have a good night. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Say hi to Hollis Polk.
Hi, Hollis. This is Donna.
Hi, Donna.
And I'm calling from Pflugerville, Texas.
Right on.
Cool.
I'm really happy to be a part of the ET Let's Talk group, and I had a couple of questions.
Go for it.
So I've had some experiences since I was younger, some abduction experiences, and also been able to astral travel and some psychic experiences, and just wondered what I can do in the future to help other people with my abilities.
I've got questions for you, Donna, so you can ask Hollis all you want, and as soon as you're done, it's my turn, okay? So,
the first thing is, and I know you have a group there in Pflugerville because I hear Costa read your name every month when we do our contact things. He reads the places where everybody is. So I know you have a group, so that's a good start. The second thing is talk to people. Tell your story.
Okay.
Okay, and I know that's maybe a little scary. It will get less scary after a while, and we could talk about what's scary about it if that's useful to you. And if you do readings for people, I don't know exactly what your skills are, so I can't really advise you until I know more about what you can do.
Okay, well, I sense dead people that are around sometimes. I dream about dead people. They come to me in my sleep, and sometimes I wake up and I'm exhausted. So I don't know.
Okay, so look, a good medium is worth her weight in gold. No kidding. If you are reliable and can make it, and can do it sort of on command, and again, I'm not a good medium. I am a very erratic medium. Sometimes I get dead people, sometimes I don't. So I don't tell people I do that, but every now, sometimes kind of at random, somebody's dead grandmother or whatever shows up and has messages. But if you do that, you know what?
Yeah, that sounds great. And are there local resources? I mean,
I haven't, again, because I'm not a medium, because that's not what I do. I haven't really looked at that, but you know what? Go online and see if there are, medium training classes. Although I got to tell you, when I said a good medium is worth her weight in gold, I really mean a good one. There are a lot of bad ones out there. I used to have a really good one in Texas, by the way, and she stopped doing it. I used to send people to her a lot because, again, I'm not reliable at mediumship. And I auditioned a bunch of people. And I haven't found a really good one to replace her. So, practice. And honestly, if you're good, people will start just coming to you.
Well, I'll have to look into that more. I think it's worth looking into and developing more then.
Well, Donna, let me ask you a couple of questions. With your ET Let's Talk community out there, have you been successful in making contact?
The only successful contact I've had are a few lights in the sky. I have had a couple of messages. One message was when they didn't show up, it was because what someone said before that they were afraid.
Interesting.
And the other time was that they said that we love you. It was a message of love.
Wow. And you had said, I almost want to keep asking you about that, but I want to get back to what you had said earlier when you first called in. You said that you had a couple of experiences when you were younger, and some were abduction. Can you tell me about that? And also, and welcome to the program, by the way, Donna. What Hollis had said earlier is true, which is talk about it. And so when somebody calls in and I'm asking you these questions, we've all had experiences, and I just want to know yours, and it's good to talk about it. When was the last time you sat down with somebody and talked to them about what happened to you when you were a kid? Ever?
Well, I am currently actually working with a regression therapist that I'm getting ready to work through those experiences and hopefully get some closure with them, because some of those experiences were very negative, and I don't want to keep those negative experiences. I want to open up to the positive experiences that I'm having with the ET Let's Talk community.
Yeah, I think that's great. Do you remember how old were you when this occurred when you were a child?
I was a teenager.
You were a teenager.
I was very young.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, teenager's not very young. Very young to me is like 2. So you're a teenager, so you were a young adult, so you remember everything,
40
don't you?
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're younger than me. You're just a kid. You're just a kid, Donna. So so you were a teenager. Did this happen at home? Did this happen away from home?
Yes.
And you said that they were negative. What made you? Was it negative because you were scared, or was it negative because bad things happened?
Negative because I was taken against my will.
Right. Well, I don't think anybody would do it voluntarily. Well, I take that back. I know a few people that would, but it was against your will. But were they mean to you?
Yes, I would wake up with marks on my body.
Right. Well, but they weren't like mean or do you understand what I'm saying? It wasn't like they were just probably just doing their job, if you know what I'm saying.
That's possible.
Right.
Maybe I didn't understand what was happening at the time.
Exactly. You know, if you think about it, and we were talking about our pets earlier, you know, it's just the way that they are interacting with us. You know, they don't understand us either, and well, fully. But the other thing is that I have heard, and I'm sure Hollis has heard the same thing. I've heard from many contactees that there isn't a personality there. There isn't an emotion, and it's possible that some of the ET may not even be who we think they are. In other words, a clone or a robot or something that was sent here to do a job, and there is an emotion involved for them like we do. So they don't understand maybe humor or sadness, you know, or fear. You know what I mean? So that's
true.
But anything is possible. But when you say it's a negative experience, if you're taken against your will, that ain't cool, you know, and there's nothing you could do about it either. So, well, Donna, thank you for the phone call. Absolutely fascinating. And you should call in and tell me a little bit more sometime.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Hollis. Thank you, Jimmy.
You're welcome. Take care, Donna.
Thank you, Donna. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Yes, Jimmy. This is Captain. How are you, sir?
Hi, Captain. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. How you doing, Hollis?
I'm well, thank you. And you?
Okay, I'm doing very, very well. Thank you. I want to reveal something. I had an event that happened to me about 6 years ago. And to this day, I have never been the same since that time. At one point in my life, I was married. And because of this incident, things have really changed. What I want to say is this. I took my ex-wife to the airport because her mother was very ill. It was on a Saturday morning, and she had to leave very early. So we left the house about 6:30 in the morning because she had a 8:15 flight. And it took me about 35 minutes to get to the airport. And I dropped her off and wished my wife well, my ex-wife well. And then when I came back home, I was on my way back home. I got back to the house and came in, locked all the doors and so forth. And I went to take a shower. Took my shower, got out, and put my clothes on and so forth. And I proceeded to the kitchen to fix me some breakfast. As I was going to fix breakfast, there was a head that I noticed that was sticking up. The head was to the back of me, and I could see the back of the head. And I looked at my door immediately, and all my deadbolts were on. I got 3 deadbolts on my door. And I said to myself, I thought it was my son, because he's the only one who has a key to get into the house. So I said, wow, I did not recognize who this head was. So I was stunned. I was stunned. And so I slowly came around, and I looked at this person. I have never, ever seen such a person.
What'd you see?
It was a male, roughly about 6 feet tall. He had a one-piece suit on. His eyes were very, very powder blue-like, almost like very, very, very lucent blue. Curly blonde hair. He didn't say anything, but he kept telling me, you're fine, you're okay. I'm not going to hurt you. You're fine, you're okay. I'm not going. He kept saying it over and over to me again. And then I verbally said to him, I do not know who you are. I don't know how you got in here, but you have to leave. And I went to the door, I opened the door up. He got up very slowly, he walked out very calmly, and I closed the door immediately, and we have a big picture window where I live at. And I can see who's going in and out because you can see the entrance. There's one entrance coming in and there's one entrance going out of my complex. And what I noticed was he just plainly disappeared. That was the most eventful situation I ever had in my life. I just cried. I cried because I think I witnessed that I was visited by a extraterrestrial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a interesting context story, Captain. It's a great one, actually. I'd like to hear more about it. Did you have a question for Hollis?
Yes, I do. Could you tell me? I know that each and every individual on this planet who are listening to this call, they're witnessing some of the events that are happening right now and some of the events that are happening in Paris and so forth. What are your feelings about current events, something that is happening right now in Paris, where you have all the world leaders there? What do you think our future is right now?
Thank you for the call, Captain. Great question. And Hollis and I were talking about this earlier today.
Wow. I want to just talk briefly about your experience for a second. Sometimes we have things, clearly it's happened to you, it happened to me, it happened to you, Jimmy, where something kind of blows our model of reality. And I think those of us that has happened to kind of have a responsibility to speak out and tell our story, when we kind of get over ourselves and can get there. Because reality is just not what we are programmed to believe. Maybe it's more complex, maybe it's actually simpler, I don't know, but it's not what we've been led to believe.
Right. Now, about Paris and the world, and we have one more call we're going to take before the break. Caller, stay right there. You're live with Hollis. With what's going on with this fear and this terror, really quick, Hollis, what can we do about that?
Okay, there's a really simple way to end terrorism. It takes a while, okay, and I didn't say it was easy, but it's really simple. Stop being afraid.
That's you go. That's it. It can't get any easier than that. I concur, young lady. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Hollis Polk. Who's calling?
Hello?
You're live.
Hi, this is Joey.
Hi, Joey.
Hi, Hollis. I've been having CE5 experiences probably for like the last 2 years or so, and there's like a common theme of information going back and forth of there being some sort of time or an event where there's like a significant increase of their presence, whether it be contact or disclosure. I just wanted to ask you if you have an opinion on that, the government perspective, and if you think something's going to happen.
I do think something's going to happen. I have no idea what the government perspective is, right? I mean, I'm not the government. And, time is a funny thing. When I look out at the future for people, like I said, it generally looks at a range of probabilities and not as one particular thing. And time is even more slippery than that, and especially the timing of mass events. Because all of our consciousnesses, our humanity's consciousness, if you can call it one thing, or, an agglomeration of 7 billion things, I don't know, will affect the timing. So I think that the more of us who, A, project positive intention, and B, open ourselves up to, the fact that reality is not what we have been led to believe, and talk to our friends about it, the more likely we are to generate a positive outcome and to have it sooner rather than later.
Okay, so you think it's all with the people then?
Clearly there are David Wilcock would call them the powers that were, who would like for all of what most of us want to not happen. But I do believe that, 7 billion people, the consciousness of 7 billion people is going to override the consciousness of a few hundred or a few thousand, no matter what tools they have. We the people will prevail. It's kind of like Martin Luther King said, the arc of justice is long, the arc of history is long, but it bends toward justice. This is one of those things. It's the arc of history is long, but it bends towards disclosure, reality, whatever you want to call it.
Hey, Joey, where are you located?
Cleveland, Ohio.
You're in Cleveland, and do you, Michael Lee Hill territory, right?
I haven't heard of him, no.
Okay, he'll be on the show tomorrow night, but do you have a CE5 community that you hang out with in Cleveland?
I had one, and it kind of died out.
Right.
But I'm mostly like a loner with it.
Are you registered over at ET Let's Talk?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, you're doing all the right things then. Yeah, absolutely. Fascinating call. Thank you so much, Joey, and I totally agree with you, man.
All right, thanks a lot.
Have a great night. At Hollis, and we're up against a break here, and then we'll get back to calls. And everybody, if you're there, just stay right there. It's okay. 323-825-5045. Disclosure is on everybody's. It is such. I'm gonna say this right now, and I don't want the audience to take this the wrong way. I think it's overused, and the reason why I think it's overused is because disclosure's already happened. Okay, I think we need to move on from this. And if I hear flying saucer on the White House lawn one more time, I'm going to throw myself in front of a bus because it's already happened. Hollis, you're doing it. Costa's doing it. The CE5 community, I've seen what I've seen. We've got hundreds of thousands of photographs and witness testimony and videos, and that part of it, that question is answered. We need to move on beyond that. Now we need to just take a step past it because us in the UFO community and the CE5 community, the question of them being here, I think we've already passed that, and hoping for Washington to just step up one day and say something, they're not, and they can't. And would they? It's anything is possible, but for us. The question of disclosure, I think, is already answered. Don't you think, Hollis?
Well, I think it is for a lot of us, but I think there are probably a few billion people who haven't got it together yet. They haven't been taught. Because it's suppressed in the media. So we have to, Costa would say this, we have to be the media, and that's the whole point, in a way, of ET Let's Talk. It's like, it's not just ET Let's Talk, like let's talk to the ETs, which is great.
Right.
It's also let's talk about ETs to each other. Or
right.
not to the choir, of course, but, go out, like tell your experiences to people. I got to tell you, and I know we're up against a break, but when I opened up psychically, which was more than 30 years ago, that was considered very weird. I had a lot of people telling me I was bad and wrong and crazy and all this other stuff. And you know what? It's 30 years later, and they've come around. So we all need to, it's normal now. Maybe they're not doing it, but it's not so weird. And, it's that same moment for the contact community, except there are a lot of us, and we all can just go out and talk. Call into another radio show, one that isn't, sorry, Jimmy, one that isn't all believers.
That's right. I'm going to talk about that when we come back after this break. This is our first AMA week with Hollis Polk as our first guest. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. If you're there, stay right there. If not, call back. We'll get everybody in. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More right after this.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Ray Sobs here once again to tell you about the Space and Alien Snowfest Ufology Conference taking place in the ski resort city of Big Bear Lake in sunny Southern California. What a lineup. Richard Dolan, Chase Kletsky, Micah Hanks, George Norrie, Jason Martell, Jimmy Church, Linda Moulton Howe, keynote speaker Stanton Friedman, and more. Along with the speakers and lecturers, join the luncheon hosted by Jimmy Church. See a world-class UFO ET-themed ice sculpture contest with attendees voting the winner. Enjoy the quaint shops, restaurants, and pubs in Big Bear Lake Village, and enjoy some of the best sky watching you can imagine. After the hectic holidays, gift yourself with a retreat the first week of February, and come relax with us in a premier ski resort town high in the mountains of the Southern Sierras, with an average of over 300 sunny days a year. Take advantage and book your lodging early and get your tickets now. Visit our website and register at aliensnowfest.com. That's aliensnowfest.com.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's all here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With the mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Great night tonight. It's our very first AMA Q&A. It's day one of 4 straight AMA nights right here on Fade to Black. And our first night is Hollis Polk. Tomorrow night, Michael Lee Hill will be right here. Wednesday night, Leo Zagami live from Rome. Thursday, it's gonna be me. AMA. Ask us anything. Oh, AUA. I think that's the new version. Now, Hollis, I wanted to say you said it so succinctly, so correct. Whenever I speak publicly, the first thing I do when I step up to the mic, I always start off with, I'm speaking to the wrong crowd. You guys get it. I need to speak to a room full of people that don't get it. Because everything that I'm saying right now, or I'm going to say, you guys get it. You understand. I need to speak to the wrong crowd. Everybody laughs and they understand the point. And you're exactly right. You're 100% correct. Need to go like to an FM late night rock show, right? And speak to that crowd. So, hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Say hi to Hollis Polk.
Hello, Hollis. Hi, Jimmy. It's Tammy.
Hey, Tammy.
Hollis, I have a question for you, hon. Maybe you can help me out with it. I have different things that I'm capable of doing, but I find I can only do them when I'm either in a really, really good mood or a bittersweet mood, like wanting to be naughty but nice. example, the other night I had a friend tell me she could read my cards, and it was the worst card reading I ever got. So after she shuffled the cards, I just looked at her and I said, those cards are going to come back to the same reading. She'd shuffled them for like a half an hour. The exact same reading showed up. So,
well, Tammy, that's all your fault. You know that.
Oh, I do know that.
Yeah,
I did it
right.
on purpose. But I want to be able to do it when I'm not feeling naughty and nice. I want to be able to do it when it's needed the most, not just when I want to be a smart ass. I mean, smart Alex, sorry.
Well, there was another emotion you said when you are in a really good mood. Forgive me. There was another emotion or another mood in which you can do readings.
Okay.
And what?
Remind
Well,
me what that was.
When I'm really, really in a good mood, or concerned. A friend of mine, her nephew was killed. There was 2 babies in need. Nobody knew that the children were his, but he came to me, told me. I got a hold of her, told her, and 6 months later they did blood tests, found out I was right. I mean, I just literally found this out a couple of months ago. But they just barely got it in time because the mother was getting ready to ship the kids off somewhere else.
Okay, so here's what you can do. In NLP, there's a concept called anchoring a state. And what you basically do is you train yourself to get into whatever mood, like on the count of 3, basically, using a physical anchor, like, holding your hands in a particular way or whatever. And so it takes a little practice. But, concern is a good place to do a reading from. If you can pull out concern for anybody, you can certainly feel concern for whoever has come to you with a serious question, right?
I'm more of a naughty but nice person.
Okay.
Seriously, I'm a redhead. I'm Irish, German, French, and Indian. I love to fight.
Okay. Well, then maybe you can think of something that is a naughty, but something that brings you into that naughty but nice mood, and practice getting there. And the best way to do it is you kind of recreate an experience where you had that mood very intensely, and you practice getting into that state so that until it happens really, really fast, and you can associate that with a particular body position, and yeah. And if you can't do it yourself, call me. We can do a quick session. I'll teach you how.
There you go.
I would love that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Be safe.
You too, Jimmy. Bye.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black, and you need to turn me down in the background.
Oh, okay. Wait a second.
What was that?
Hello?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Jimmy?
Hello?
Okay, how many calls are live here? Okay,
Hello?
I'm confused. Okay, who's calling?
Diana.
Hi, Diana. Say hi to Hollis. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
My question, well, as an experiencer, I've always wondered this. Do you feel that, like, psychic experiences a result of the abduction, or that the person was already intuitive and maybe was picked for that reason or chosen? Or do you think there's any correlation between the two?
Okay, and you keep using the word abduction. There are plenty of experiences that are not abductions. There can be, it can go either way, or, none of the above. Clearly, I had my abilities before I had my first experience. Other people have had their experiences and then discovered their own abilities. So, either way, who knows why people have the experiences, or, what I mean, like why certain people are chosen. Who knows? Maybe they just happen to be in the right place at the right time.
But see, what I'm wondering is because, like, in my case, the first remembered abduction was 10, but that doesn't mean that was my first abduction. That was my first remembered abduction. because, I actually remembered it. But before that actual abduction, maybe a year before of it, so I was 10 at the time, maybe at 9-ish, I don't remember the exact age because I'm 58 now, but when I was 9-ish, I would astral project into the lower realms, and I would always see in the very lower realms, so it was very creepy. And I knew the difference between, dreams, being awake, being visions. I mean, there's all different varieties of things, and I was aware, and what happened was I would always feel like I was in a vortex. And then what would happen is I started seeing, this is actually before the abduction started with, I don't know, maybe a year later. I would actually see an apparition of this lady in black that, like the Greys, she could look right through me, literally would look through my eyes. And I would wake up and turn on the light and say, geez, I know I wasn't dreaming, because I would turn on the light and say, there she was. And then, but I was thinking to myself, you never really know when your first abduction is, because your remembered one doesn't mean it was your first. It just remembers, so it's hard to figure out. And then throughout my whole life, I get random psychic experiences all the time, like poltergeist, or if it isn't poltergeist, it would be seeing orbs, orb faces, orbs. Weird things like that, or just very strange things happening around me and other people, electrical disturbances and all that. The whole gamut. In fact, all the whole gamut of stuff, but all random. So I was just, I never put the puzzle together, It's like as an adult, I'm looking back and I'm trying to put pieces all together, and it's just trying to make sense of it. It's really difficult, but...
Well, there can be all kinds of causalities. I mean, you may have come in with certain abilities, you may have come in with certain contacts, who knows? And the thing is, when we're really little, we don't consciously remember things, so they might have happened or not. If you want to do a hypnotic regression, let me recommend a forensic hypnotherapist, because the forensic ones don't lead the witness. So, if you want to know back before your conscious memory, the memory is there. And let me say, I have a real different idea of, how we hold things. I actually believe we're all walking around inside our minds, that our minds are our auras and our memories are stored there.
Yeah.
And so you're looking out through experiences that you've had, and that will actually tend to attract or magnetize similar experiences to you. But again, the memory is there somewhere. You just maybe haven't found how to access it yet.
Well,
and
sometimes I've accessed a lot of things through meditation and yoga. So, that's actually I activated the third eye chakra, the pineal gland, through. Well, I actually think that the aliens do something to our pineal gland. I think that's the way they partly make the telepathic powers, is through our pineal gland. I think that they're that's how we're able to speak to them that way, because they're somehow, I don't know how they activate it, but whatever they're doing. Because when I had my short conversations that I did have telepathically with the aliens, because I actually seen them, the Greys, both at two different occasions, 10 years old and then when I was in college. And then I lost time often in college. I'd lose days, 2-3 days, and then not know what happened.
Wow.
And then, and I'm not a drinker or a drug addict, so it's not like anything like that. But I think that that is how the telepathy is. So then what happens when you try to repress it, it came up years later when I started meditating. So then it came out,
Good.
Yeah, that's basically, I'm really into that kind of stuff. I mean, I even got messages that proved that I'd seen the aliens. When I was 10, they were telling me about chemical sensitivity disorder. And nobody knew what it was, so I was trying to go to doctors, because after the abductions in the beginning, I started being sensitive to things. a lot of things. Like I was having these weird reactions to like normal situations, like always smelling sulfur in the air. I smelled sulfur throughout my whole childhood. Always like, like bad eggs and things like that. And I had all these weird things going on, and I was getting like sort of chemical sensitive as a child. And so I'd go to the doctors and I'd say, well, I got chemical sensitivity. And they looked at me like, yeah, you are so crazy. And so they would, pretty much, they were just like lost for words, and I pretty much got laughed out. So nobody knew what was wrong with me. And now this is like decades later, and everyone knows about chemical sensitivity disorder. But, nobody knew about it back in 1968, back in those days. And maybe they knew about it, but they didn't talk about it if they did.
That's right.
So
no, they didn't know about it. They didn't know about it. And again, this is the same thing like the psychic thing. It's like because you knew something they didn't know, they made you wrong.
That's right.
Because the aliens told me that they were getting, they ate through their pores. And I was going to be absorbing things through my pores. And they were right, because when I started getting chemical sensitivity disorder, like if I was around something that was smelly and yicky, I'd smell into my armpits, and they would smell like that in my body. So it went through your pores. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to, explain, because that's how they were eating and this and that. But most people just thought, I was crazy. And then I kept getting attracted. Like, it was interesting because I used to travel extensively everywhere. I had this desire to travel, so I traveled, almost around the world. And I used to keep going to Ayers Rock in the middle of the outback there in Australia. I loved it. I went all around Australia, but I used to travel, but for some reason, 4 times I went back there. And then I would go to places that in the Black Forest in Germany. I had a really weird sort of UFO experience there too. I was lost in the forest there. It seemed like, looking back, like the places I've been were always remote, where I had weird things happening to me that nobody's around, and I was drawn to them. I had a need to go, and they were drawing me to go to these remote areas, apparently because I probably was really easy target because, I never really freaked. But there was one time when I remember I was in college. I don't know why I ever did this. No one in their right mind would keep going back to this summer school in the middle of nowhere in a dorm all by myself to go study some psychology courses. Well, I went out there, and I don't know why at the time, looking back, I can't even imagine. But then that's another time when I had an experience. I saw the gray aliens when I was looking out at the forest. They were peeking behind me, and then I lost 3 days. I don't even know what happened to me for 3 days.
Wow.
Literally,
well,
yeah.
Again,
so I had a lot of blackouts.
Okay, but you could you could probably recover it, and B, you have it exactly right. There was some maybe communication at a subconscious level that said, go out to these remote places where you can have these experiences where we can communicate with you, whatever. So you have that exactly right. And, I'm guessing that if you sit in meditation and really have the sincere intention to like pick one time, like that time, in college when you were studying psychology, that you have missing time, ask to be shown in a safe way what happened when you were, in that missing time. And I'll bet you it happens for you.
And you can contact Hollis directly. You can go through her website. You can also call her, and her links are right there at jimmychurchradio.com.
Okay, and there was one thing I wanted to add too that I thought was interesting too. That when I had a vision, which sometimes I have visions, and I'll see the gray face. Like, how some people wake up and they see dead people, or they'll see a face of their father when they were younger, or this or that. Well, I've had visions. This is now, so I have all different experiences. I know the real from the abduction to this or that, but this vision was an interesting vision I had once, which I thought was really interesting. I had a vision a few months back, and I couldn't believe it. It was the gray staring at me, and we were looking at each other, and I looked at him, and I said, why me? And he said to me back telepathically, because he goes, it wasn't just you. It was everybody on your street. And I said, prove it. And he said to me, did you notice on your street, like, people were pitted against each other, family members all the time, serious, like, situations? And he was absolutely correct. Because it not only happened to myself, but it also happened to all our neighbors, like disowning their kid or never this or that, a lot of the neighbors on the street. So and I said, well, what was the experiment on? And he said, we're experimenting on emotions. And so then, but my first abduction when I was 10, it couldn't have only been on emotions, because I know the first one was because they were creating a hybrid, because I ended up with I still have an implant on my arm. This green fluorescent thing is on my arm. When I was 10, it was really bright, and there was like green glob on my bed. But it's still on my arm to this day. It's a green, I call it an implant because I got it that day. And I went to doctors, and one thought it was gangrene, and they didn't have any clue. And so then I just left it alone. But I know that abduction wasn't due to emotion, though, because that abduction was the hybrid. They were using me for, specimens to create another, because I'm really good with children. I'm always working with children. So I think that it has a connection. And they said that, I remember going out of my body. I remember the laser beams coming down at me. I was in my bed. I was 10 years old. And the laser beams coming at me, bright as can be. It was like out of a laser show. And so I I was screamed. And then I became paralyzed by the light because they were coming towards me. And then I saw myself go out of my body, looking down at them, doing needles and stuff in my body. So I could actually go out of my body and watch. Mm-hmm. And so that one was about the hybrid. But then I guess apparently they did others,
You know what you should do? What's your name again?
I don't know. Diana?
Hey, Diana, I'm sorry about that. It's my daughter's name. I should be ashamed. Diana, you need to call back Thursday night on Fader Night. I want to talk to you some more, okay?
Okay,
and Diana,
what time your time? Because my time's different. So
7:30 my time.
Okay.
Thank you
on Thursday.
Yeah, thank you so much, Diana.
And hey, Diana.
Yes.
Quick hit. Have you considered that perhaps that first one was a different group than the rest of them? Like the first incident.
I couldn't hear you because of the. Say that again.
Have you considered that the first incident that you had was with a different group of ETs than the other incidents?
I've considered it, but I really, in my heart, believe it was in the It was in the Gray family. It was some kind of reptilian, because it's really weird because, I know it sounds strange, but so many weird things with me. I love geckos, and I'm afraid of all insects and stuff, right? But geckos, whenever I'm around geckos, good things happen, and I really believe it was a reptilian race. It was I don't know if it was a Gray. It was definitely the Grays, because I know it was the Grays, but I don't know if there's subdivisions of the Grays, because I think my family members who don't believe in this stuff, their Grays, the ones that abducted them, were different than mine, because we're different people. I'm so different from my family members. So I'm thinking that it was different forms of the Grays, because people will say to you, was it a bad or not a bad experience? Well, it's hard to say, because how can you say that when you don't really understand what's happening? So I can never figure out today, I don't like to think they're evil, so I try to just say, I said, well, they took me against my will, they did this, they did that, but now my mind is broader, I'm open, I see things other people don't see, I can make predictions, I got psychic abilities, weird ones, not like anything that I can make money off of, but really weird, random psychic abilities and strange things. And I said, well, my life would have been boring if this didn't happen, I'm trying to make it seem good, because I don't want to look at the bad in it, so I look at the positive, but I don't know what they were. I'm not afraid of them, but
good.
I'm not afraid at all. If you know, and I'm still alive, you know, I'm here. So, I mean, what's to be afraid of, you know? I mean, in fact, I always say to people that I'm more afraid of the people in the physical realm, not the spiritual realm. You know, I could never figure out, are these people of our dimension? Are they not of our dimension? Are they through portals and black holes? Because, like I said, like, weird things have happened to me that if I couldn't even compile all the weird things in my life. Like, I wouldn't even know weird. And children, do you know that, like, I substitute teach, right? I have weird, random experience where kids out of blue will come up to me, and I don't talk about this in school for obvious reasons, right? And they will talk about their abduction, or they will know something. They will come to me like they know something, you know?
Well, children know everything, Diana. You know that.
Exactly.
Keep a journal.
Diana, listen, I'm up against a commercial break. Call me on Thursday night, and we'll finish everything. I got a lot of questions for you.
Okay, sure. Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank
Bye.
you. Fascinating phone call. And I've got a caller on hold, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to take my break a minute early. Network, you're just going to have to deal with it. I'm going to do that. Everybody stay right where you are. This is our first AMA week, our first night ever. Tonight, 4 straight nights. Tonight, Hollis Polk. More with Hollis when we come back. More of your calls. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay right there.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
Why do people order Life Change Tea? Because Life Change Tea helps the digestive system. Life Change Tea helps the colon unclog. The tea also helps with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and many, many other health issues. Life Change Tea also tastes great. And Life Change Tea is not just green tea. Life Change Tea is a unique blend of 8 different herbs that go to town, cleaning your body of harmful toxins, bacteria, and parasites. Our tea is number 1. Are you ready for your life change? Let the tea help you. Log on to our online store of helpful products to get your body on track. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or you can call us at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. Not all tea is equal. Read our website of all the factual testimonies that prove that Life Change Tea is working. Health is important, and our quality of life is very important. Don't wait to order. Expect a life change with Life Change Tea at getthetea.com.
Are you a paranormal investigator, ghost hunter, or UFO skywatcher? If so, FNGinnovations.com has the product you definitely need in your investigations kit or go bag. Introducing the Morpholite Wide Beam Tactical Flashlights that put the light where you need it most. Traditional flashlights shine a focused round beam with limited line of sight in the dark. Morpholite Tactical Flashlights change all that, utilizing a revolutionary wide beam design to enable you to see safety hazards such as hanging wires and steel, pipes, and holes in the floor you just can't see with a focused round beam. In the field, where safety is paramount, a 180-degree beam increases orientation and peripheral vision in the dark. Morpholite flashlights are ideal for investigations in abandoned facilities such as houses and hospitals, factories, caves, and tunnels. Avoid those low-hanging tree branches that poke your eyes in the woods. Visit FNGinnovations.com to see a full line of tactical lights and accessories. That's FNGinnovations.com.
Now you can find all your favorite talk radio shows live, all in one place at TalkStreamLive.com. Listen from anywhere, office, home, or in your car. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com and click on one of the many live talk show hosts you want to listen to. It's free and easy. No computer? Download the smartphone apps. Never miss your favorite talk show. Find them all at TalkStreamLive.com.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. This is our first AMA week, our first night. Great success, great call. We're not done. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Hollis Polk is with us tonight. And thank you for hanging on, caller. Who's calling?
My name is Matthew. My wife actually called you a little while earlier, and I just happened to make it back to call you back.
Okay, Matthew, how you doing?
I'm good, real good. I'm the one that has the military mind blocks with the ET stuff.
Oh, Hollis, there you go.
Yeah, so explain to me exactly what's going on, to the best of your ability.
To the best of my ability, I don't remember anything of my life from 30s earlier. I was told I was in the military. There's like doors of mind blocks that I don't remember anything. And I know I'm a walk-in.
Well, there you go. And that's what showed up in my mind, too, is you're probably a walk-in.
I am.
Okay.
One time when I had cancer, I woke up in the morning, walked to the mirror, and didn't know who I was looking at. Absolutely did not know who I was looking at.
Okay, I believe you. So you're a walk-in. I mean, to me, that makes a pretty good explanation, and it's nothing to do with extraterrestrials or abductions or anything. You're a walk-in. Oftentimes, one soul has done what it needed to do and didn't need the body anymore, and the body's a perfectly good body, and some other soul needs to have an earthly experience for one reason or another, something it needs to do, something it needs to heal, whatever, and it'll come in and use the body.
Well, here's one of those. I was listening to a theta music the other day, and the vision that I had with the mind interchange was I was looking at not a gray, but an extraterrestrial that had the big almond eyes. Mm-hmm. I was in a spacesuit like the old Apollo spacesuits. And went to the alien, had a conversation, asked for help, made a deal, and a switch was made. That was what I got from the vision.
Wow, okay. So, okay, and I am completely, making this up. You could say I'm, imagining or hallucinating here, so this isn't a reading, but it's just what occurs to me. Mm-hmm. There's all that secret space program stuff going on.
Yep.
And maybe you were part of that, and that was the deal.
I've been told that because even my military records that I sent for, the only thing they sent me back was my DD Form 214. And there's one really weird anomaly on that one. My nearest living relative, which lists my mother as my spouse. And they wouldn't send me any more records.
Wow, that's weird. DD 214 is usually spot on correct. That's the one thing that you can depend on never being wrong. You may want your DD 214 to say something else, and it never does. And that's interesting. A DD 214, for the audience that doesn't know, that is the accurate list of your military history, what you did, what your rank was, and how you were discharged. And it's right there. And that's it. And you can't change it.
Right. And they wouldn't send me anything else.
That's interesting. That's a weird mistake.
Exactly.
If it was a mistake. I mean, what if it wasn't a mistake? What does that tell you? That's even stranger yet, Matthew. I don't want to suggest anything. It could be a mistake. I'm not going there. I don't know.
Well, who knows?
But yeah, right.
Well, it's like the military thing. I mean, I have bits of memory, but the whole thing is like what I kind of remember is my first original orders were Madrid, Torrejon, Spain. Yet I went to Luke, and all the time in Arizona, I always thought it looked like Spain. Well, this year was the first time I ever went to Madrid, and I walked around the city like I knew it.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Luke Air Force Base in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Hey,
but yet I walked around Madrid like I knew it.
Well, Matthew, what I want you to do is this: is if you go to my homepage right there, jimmychurchradio.com, you'll see Hollis's name.
Okay.
Her website's there. You can click on it. You can contact her directly, and I know that she wants to talk to you further. And I find all of this fascinating.
I'll send you the link of the little military vehicle that was driving down the road in front of me the other day.
Yeah,
it was sending off pulses.
Well, you have my email address, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, fantastic, Matthew. And if you want, you can call in any Thursday night and speak to me directly too as well. But Hollis is easy to get a hold of, and if you have any complications with that, you can contact me directly, and I'll get you two hooked up.
Well, Hollis, I'll email you tonight.
Okay, I look forward to speaking with you. Yeah, call me.
Right.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Sorry about that, Matthew. It takes courage, doesn't it, Hollis, to call in and speak in front of 100,000 people and put it all out there like that. But thank you for the call, Matthew, and very interesting. Now, also, I've got so many calls backed up. And listen, I'm going to bring in. Hi, Dino.
Good evening, Jimmy.
Dino, stay
Hi,
right.
Hollis.
Hi.
Dino, stay right there for a second.
Sure.
I have got email questions. I have got Twitter questions backed up, and I can't ignore any of that. So I brought you in, Dino, because you're my brah. So you're going to sit right there and listen to Hollis answer some of these questions really quick, okay?
Okay.
All right. You be co-producer, Dino. You just sit there and behave. This is from Renee. Can you think of any good reason why a spirit guide would prevent someone from seeing UFOs who really, really wanted to?
Protection.
I was going to go there. I was going to go there. That's a good reason why. All right. Now this is a question from me. When it comes to being hypnotized, when it comes to hypnosis, you're a hypnotherapist yourself.
Right.
When I was young, I don't know if I've ever shared this story on the air, but I'll do it. I had a friend who was a hypnotist. He could hypnotize anybody, right? And so one night, lights are out, candles are lit in my living room, and I said, no, you can't do it. No, I can do it. So I sat. No, actually, he hypnotized another friend of mine that was there, and it was amazing. I watched it go down, and I didn't know if somebody was putting me on or what, but went right back to 2 years old kind of thing, and had this whole conversation going on. Went on for about an hour. Then it was my turn. Snapped him out of it. He didn't remember anything, and I thought that was pretty fascinating, and he was asking about some of the things that he had said, and no way, really. So then it was my turn. 2 hours sat there, could not hypnotize me. Now, was it because, like what Tammy had said earlier, I was in that mood and I wasn't going to let it happen, or can I not be regressed?
Okay, you strike me as pretty strong-willed. And if somebody said to you, I can hypnotize anybody, and you were determined to prove them wrong, you were going to prove them wrong.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
I will say is pretty much everybody goes in and out of hypnotic states all the time. Have you ever driven down the freeway and like kind of woken up and gone, oh, how did I get here? I don't remember the last 30 miles. Has that ever happened to you?
I do it all the time.
Yeah, that's hypnosis.
I did it on this show tonight for 3 hours. How did we get here? We blew through. Can you believe that we're almost at the end of the show, Hollis? Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely incredible show. Okay, Dino, stay right there. I got a couple of quick questions here. Do you believe in the afterlife? That's from Beverly.
Oh, well, it's not about my belief. There is way too much evidence of reincarnation, which would imply an eternal soul, which would imply something in between the lifetimes. I highly recommend you go. Okay, there's a book which is by and or about Dr. Ian Stevenson, which I think is Stevenson, called, I think, 20 cases or 25 cases suggestive of reincarnation. Ian Stevenson was a doctor. He's on the other side now. And he's a professor in the Department of Psychiatry at the University of Virginia. I think it's called the Division of Personality Studies. They still have a website. They're still doing their research. The database is up over, I think, 3,000 cases of reincarnation now. So it's not about what I believe. I would consider it pretty much fact.
Next question. Please ask Hollis, what level, this is from Michael, what level of emergency preparedness she and her family undertake in these unpredictable days?
Okay. A while ago, and I want to say a couple of years ago, when I was a lot more worried than I am now, we made sure to have some water put by, and, some dry food, whatever, a couple, a sack of rice, a sack of beans, and some other stuff. But, I'm not particularly worried anymore. My guidance has said that if things are screwed up, it's going to be for like a week. So you don't really need to worry much. It'd be good to have, food and water for a week hanging out.
Yeah, not only for the unpredictable stuff like what's going on in the Middle East or, with Russia or whatever, but natural stuff too. A flood, an earthquake, a fire. I think that is a good idea. I joke about it all the time that, I have cases of top ramen noodles in the garage because I'm addicted to them, right? But you know what? In an emergency, it'll save your life.
Exactly.
This is from Hollow. Can a body contain multiple spirit entities?
Oh boy. I think it probably can, not happily, but I think different people can come through one body. Yes.
And so is it possible to replace the spirit in a body?
Well, we just talked to Matthew. And yes, and by the way, I know 2 other walk-ins.
What's a walk-in, by the way? What does that mean?
Basically, one soul leaves the physical body and it to be replaced by another. And usually the second one doesn't remember anything really, or very little, like just glimpses from before they walked in.
Interesting. Can you, let's get to Dino, but can you give me a 30-second stretch on that? Explain a little further.
Well, not much to say. It's just, we are not our bodies. We are an eternal soul. The soul takes on a body, and the soul can leave. In effect, normally that's what is considered death, is the soul leaving. But usually either that's a so-called accident or something of illness. Well, if a body's really, ill, no other soul is going to want it.
So in a case of amnesia, is that sometimes a walk? You went right there. Hollis, you went right there. And he knew exactly what you were talking about. So that was just fascinating to me. And where I was thinking a case of amnesia, or maybe an accident, or maybe some kind of head trauma was possible. That's where I'm going. You went straight to walk-in, and he said yes. I've been told that before, and I just found that fascinating.
What can I tell you? Like I said, I know 2 people who are that way, and they're both psychics, by the way.
Wow. Yeah. Unbelievable. I'm going to, I'm going to do this kind of selfishly. I got an email from a friend of mine, and I'm just going to say Jack. Jack, I got your email, and yes, the answer is yes, man. We got to get you on the show, and he's a rock star. And,
cool.
And we connected up earlier today. I hadn't talked to him in a while. And so, Jack, I got your email. If you're listening, let's do this. It'll be a fascinating conversation. Okay, Dino, welcome to the show, man. Say hi to Hollis.
Hey, hi, Hollis. Hi, everybody. Just a real quick aside. Trish from Africa is too cheap or lazy to get Skype and tell you that biltong is the new word of the month.
Okay. You talked to Trish?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Trish.
Well, she's on chat with us occasionally. She came back tonight.
Oh,
She
Trish.
has some interesting stories. I wish she would get Skype and call in on a Fader night.
She is absolutely amazing, and she listens every night from South Africa. And I get the occasional email and texting from her. But hi, Trish. How are you? Okay, Dino, go ahead.
It's morning there. So I wanted to ask you, Hollis. I want to know. So hopefully, some Fader nuts and other listeners will want to know. I know that I've not been abducted. I don't really. An astrologer, a famous astrologer, told me when I was 20 years old to really avoid the hyper normal. I'm a very logical person, so I have to rely on this show and good guests like yourself that I have faith in. I have faith in the heart that something else is going on. Down to the question would be about abductions, different types of races, because if one's coming here, there must be many. Do you believe if someone like myself, who has not had an abduction, who has not been contacted directly by some of these visitors or others, that maybe they may, and I don't want to be a paranoid here, I've always been a pretty positive person, but I've had times in my life in recent years since I delved deeper into the extraterrestrial, whatever you want to call it, phenomena, where it seems like someone may be messing with my life to kind of knock me off course. Do you have any experience with that?
That can happen, but it's rare. Usually, things that are, quote, happening to knock you off course or whatever, usually those are unacknowledged parts of ourselves. Sometime, and again, usually the cause in those things is from this lifetime, usually before you can remember. But occasionally they are past lives, like past selves from other lifetimes that have beliefs that are not suitable in this lifetime or not useful, or things that need to be healed that are kind of carried over.
Well, Hollis, can I ask you, do you believe they are related? In other words, paranormal type of things that you seem to be experienced in connection with actual physical or light beings from other entities on Earth today, nuts and bolts, space starcraft, that they work together as a phenomena, or are they separate?
All of the above.
Why do you ask that, Dino?
Well, because I've never experienced it. I mean, I met Travis Walton a couple of times. I can drop names. Dan Sheehan seems to have a lot of knowledge, and I talked with him. And I don't think these guys are carnival guys, and they know something. So do they know something in the physical realm, or is this totally a paranormal phenomenon? I mean, if you've got tall whites talking to Charles Hall out in the desert, but you've got little gray guys that some people say are nothing but biological clones with no souls, where's the connection? Are they connected?
Well, but see, I'll let Hollis answer too as well, but we're talking about, especially when you talk about Dan or Travis, that isn't paranormal. That was definitely physical. I mean, yeah. Travis was there, and there were witnesses that saw the craft with Travis. You have Travis's own testimony and experience and recall of everything that happened, but you had a whole truckload of guys that saw the event too as well. And with Dan Sheehan, Dan had his own direct physical when he saw the photographs from Blue Book. You have that too as well, where it's direct. Well, it's more direct with Dan in other aspects, but it isn't a paranormal experience. Dan's recall and tracing of the hieroglyphs, for example, that's one piece of Dan. But that wasn't paranormal. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, I understand, but my question to Hollis is, are they connected? In other words, is Dan, is Travis, or even though they're being, they seem to know physical reality things of our reality on the current reality, but are they being influenced, or are extraterrestrials jumping in, some people say, into the psychic world to manipulate that way? You understand?
I do, but here's the thing. It's all of the above. I wasn't actually kidding. Some experiences are very physical. These little beings showed up in my bedroom. Okay, they were there. I saw them with my eyes. It was a physical thing. There was telepathic contact. Okay, that you could consider, paranormal, metanormal, whatever. I like to think of it as normal. It's the way we're all going. I don't know anything about Travis Walton. In my discussion,
disclosure is what you're talking about. If disclosure is made or is being made now, will paranormal things also be revealed, or is it simply just an exoplanet?
But here's the thing: what people are calling paranormal today, I actually think are latent human abilities. I actually think they were trained out of us. Forgive me, but by the Catholic Church a couple of millennia ago. Mm-hmm. There's a school of thought that says baptism is a rite specifically designed to shut down the third eye.
Right.
And I believe it. These are normal human abilities. I mean, I remember walking around the Uffizi Gallery looking at all these pictures of saints with halos, and it hit me. Back then, people saw those things. That was normal. And I don't know whether it's electric lighting or just people having been trained out of it or whatever. It's not normal today, but it can be normal again for people to see auras. I mean, and I definitely know a man, he's one of my teachers, who was 18 before he found out that other people didn't see auras because he sees everybody's aura all the time. He thought it was normal.
Right. Right.
So these are latent human abilities. I mean, they're more developed in some people than in others, but they're there.
Hey, Dino.
Yeah.
Hey, Dino. Dino.
Yes.
Great call.
All right. I'll let you go.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you, Dino. Thank you, man.
Bye.
Now, what an amazing point to bring up, and you've done it about 3 times tonight, ahead of my thought. I don't know how you do it.
Funny thing about that.
Yeah, it is. It is. What society today has lost touch with, and I think we're taking the turn, is the self. And when you go back to not only ancient Egypt, but you go back to the Mayans or the Aztecs or the American Indians or Mesoamerica, you go anywhere, go to Beijing or what, it doesn't matter what culture, but they were in touch with the self. And they were able to, and I don't know if it's like you had said earlier, and I think it's fascinating to look at it this way: the lack of television sets, the lack of the disconnect with the self that has happened in the modern era. But back then, they were. It was all about spirituality. It was about improving the self and questioning and wondering about the mind. All of that is gone today. Not all of it, but you know what I'm saying. And that disconnect is real. I don't know what has caused it. I don't know if it's working 40 hours a week and stressing out on work and debt and mortgage and international affairs and bad news and the mass media. I don't know where the disconnect is, but it's definitely there and it's real, where that there was no question about spirituality or the other side or reincarnation or gods, things coming from the stars, and it was to them, it was an absolute reality. And today we don't have that.
Well, I think some of it comes from the scientific worldview, which has brought us a lot of advantages. And, there are pluses and minuses to everything. And I think some people figured out that, and I don't think this is how it started originally, but, that scientific materialist worldview could be used to manipulate us.
Totally true. I'm so happy about tonight's AMA. It was amazing, but I still have a couple of questions I've got to get in here, okay? One is, could a walk-in be a forced event?
I don't know. That's a great question. I have no idea.
And another one, this comes from Kat, and she says, I've heard stories about people becoming someone else overnight. Is that a walk-in too as well?
Most likely.
That is fascinating to me, Hollis. Absolutely fascinating. And what can be done about a walk-in? I mean, can that be fixed?
Well, you're asking the wrong question. Here's the thing, is that happens, both souls are going to agree. So it's not a mistake, and it's not anything to be fixed. One soul says, did what I came for. But there's a perfectly good body. So on some level, there's a soul agreement that another soul's going to use the body.
And you wouldn't know, would you?
What do you mean?
I mean, if that other soul is gone, I mean, your body is left, you don't know that. Wow. It's almost tragic. But is it tragic? There's nothing you can do, right?
There's nothing tragic about it. Look, it isn't my job or anybody else's job to judge whether that walk-in is good or bad, right? It exists. It's an event. Two souls shared a body in time. I suppose you can look at it that way. Unlike when they're trying to both be there at the same time, which is uncomfortable for everybody.
Right.
The bystanders are made very uncomfortable, but for the two souls who made the agreement, the soul contract, whatever, one to walk out and one to walk in, hey, they're okay with it.
Wow, you've just messed with me.
Well, it isn't me, okay? Like I said, you can read about it, and I happen to know two people who are that way, and neither of them, and now remember, they're the ones who are here now. They're the after virgin.
Right.
They talk about it being kind of uncomfortable and weird and having to get used to Earth or the body or whatever, but nobody feels bad about it. It's like, okay, I'm here. Both of them, the ones that I know, have a sense of purpose. Like, they're here for a reason. Each one, they're different reasons, but each of them is here for a reason.
Hollis, you have 10 seconds. What's the best absolute way to get a hold of you?
888-4-HOLLIS, 888-446-5547, or 888-4-Hollis.com.
Thank you so much, Hollis. Absolutely an amazing show. Go get some rest. That was brilliant. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care.
Hollis Polk, everybody. Our first AMA. Absolutely fascinating show. We took it to the absolute end, and I am just so happy right now. Thank you so much. Hollis Polk. All of our websites, everything that you need is over at jimmychurchradio.com. Go and click. Thank you, Hollis. Thank you to everybody that called in tonight. Amazing calls. Amazing questions. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Kamarian. Shows produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee, Mark Dunbar, Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA The Planet. Tomorrow night, Michael Lee Hill, AMA Night 2. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2015 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be used, rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Be safe. Go back, Lee Tappy.